We're running off the sun right now. We got the solar panel running, the solar powered EAC. So we're not plugged in. Absolutely see it's not plugged in.
Okay. Is it this panel or one?
It's the one outside because we, But anyway, that's my solar powered.
Sure. I was wondering.
Okay, I'm going to round everybody up. Spodioti, take a seat. Smack, take a seat. I know you're talking some real wild stuff. James Allen Roby, take a seat. Zero fossil fuel, I know you're here. Oh, he's getting, he's a behind the scenes guy. And Smart Scarecrow, Gary, where are you? Come on up. We have got, these are the pioneers of hydroxy. If you can get on the internet, you read about, the water car and things like that. These are the guys over the past few years that have not only been doing the experiments, but they're also putting the information on YouTube, on videos. James Allen Roby wrote a book about the guys who were successful at actually getting cars to run off water, which sounds like an impossibility unless you know there's other parts of the equation beyond Faraday. And so anyway, these are the guys here who are the past generation. Jake is our next generation, okay? You guys, you're that old. You're over 40, Smack. You're over 40. And don't trust anybody over 30. I grew up in that generation, so, Jake, you're the only guy here who's the next generation. And Jake's going to share what he's been doing at the University of Idaho on his own personal cognizance and dollar, probably. I mean, I don't think... Okay, family, but no grants coming out of the government or anything like that. He's doing this on his own. And really neat stuff. And these guys can share what they've done and how they can support what he's done and tie this all together. And then we'll pass the microphone around after he finishes up and tell us about what y'all have been doing as well, Zero and everybody. And some really, there's a lot of knowledge around this table here.
Hi, I'm Jake Wall, and I'd just like to give you a little bit of background about myself. I have my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, and I'll be finishing my master's degree in biological and agricultural engineering at the University of Idaho. I got interested in the hydrogen things back in probably 2004. The gas prices were going up, and I was starting to buy, more fuel, traveling to visit people and stuff, and just started searching on the internet. Just it was those little things you put in your air intake, the Vortec, and that didn't work obviously. But looking at just searching out gas fuel mileage, I started running across Sandmeyer and different things. And that time it was a little bit before YouTube really got big, so it was looking at all the different forums and find all these little videos and these little folders, and so that's how I got started. So this presentation is basically going to be, it's going to start out with, I had a class in internal combustion engine and another class in combustion and air pollution, and one of the requirements of the class was to write a journal paper. And so, I'm like, well, I'm really interested in hydrogen. Let's see what's out there in the peer-reviewed, university stuff. And I found quite a bit. Probably the majority of it is all with tank hydrogen, boosting with gas and diesel and methane, those different types of engines. So I started my research with that, and then, so that's the first part of the presentation, is the review of these journals. And then the second part is the actual experimentation that I've done. So basically, I've posted my journal paper and then all the sources and some additional papers on the Energy Show and Tell website. So this is there's the link.
Oh man, that was fast.
Was something in there from NASA also?
there's lots of paper, I have 20 sources for my paper. There's a lot more sources that aren't actual sources for the paper, but there's so many, you can only use,
I've got the NASA publication posted there on the front page of my site.
Does it have to do with boosting?
It has to do with hydrogen augmentation in internal combustion engines, so.
they don't call it boosting.
Yeah, they don't call it boosting, and
Augmentation.
they get the hydrogen from reformation, they don't get it from electrolysis, but it's the same concept.
Is everybody written down at this point, right?
Wetpaint.com is a site similar to, like, a
It's
number
like
of-
MySpace, kind of.
Yeah, a number of places where you can do a free webpage. Anyone can start a webpage on Webpage for free, and so that's why we chose it to do with the Energy Show and Tell site.
So first to start out, I wanted to just kind of review the basics of how an internal combustion engine works. You have four strokes, and this would be for the first stroke engine case. You have intake, compression, power, and exhaust, and a nice little way to remember it is suck, squeeze, bang, and blow. So this is the,
Suck, squeeze, pop, bleed.
Yeah.
But you get the idea.
so this is the basic diagram of an engine. Next, I'm going to talk about, for my research, what hydrogen does in an engine. The studies have found that it reduces carbon monoxide, nitric oxide, unburned hydrocarbons, and it also can increase fuel economy and it can increase power. How are emissions formed? Carbon monoxide and unburnt hydrocarbons are a result of incomplete combustion, and they also can be caused by rich mixtures. Now, if we go back to the diagram of the engine, there's a crevice around the piston, and different fuels have different quenching distances, they call it. And so with a gasoline, diesel, these big chain fuels, you have they have a large quenching distance. So you get this amount of fuel around the piston and it doesn't burn. And so you have unburned fuel. The other aspect is that around the piston, you have a slow burning fuel. When the piston's coming up, you have heat that's generated, and that's lost to the piston walls, and it's not, it doesn't contribute to any power, it's just a loss. So those are the two areas that if you have hydrogen, it's a very fast burning fuel and it's a very small molecule. And so it will allow to get into those crevices and burn more of that fuel. So those are, at least from these research papers, those are some of the reasons why hydrogen can help as an additional fuel.